Hi there, it's Wednesday, the 17th of October 2018, and do you know what I like? What I really like is when RNS, do you know what? This is what I love about the stock market. The stock market is always live. It's like a breathing thing. It comes alive. It wakes up at sort of 7 o'clock in the morning, or really 8 o'clock. It's in snooze mode at 7. But 7 a.m., news comes out about listed companies, and I love that. It's like a present every day. You never know what's going to drop. It's a big surprise. I just love it. I love it. Do you know, part of the reason why I like holding quite a few stocks, right? I know some people don't think diversification is the way forward. You can over diversify, of course you can. But I like holding lots of stocks because it diversifies risk, and also there's more chance of news landing. 7 a.m. I'm there. If you've not got the Vox Markets app, by the way, please do get it. Just go to voxmarkets.co.uk/app. It's free of charge. Download it from Android or Apple Store. And essentially you just follow a company you want news on. Whenever they release a company, you will get it via notification, free of charge, to the front screen of your phone. So please, excuse the plug, but it's free, but I think it's priceless. I've seen companies' share price not react, and I've got the news in front of me that's significant. And literally, you could log on, if you've been logged into your stockbroker, you could have bought some stock even before the price has reacted. Even though I'm more of a longer-term investor, not a trader, but traders is ideal, that kind of thing. So fast, the news. I guarantee you, there's not a service that delivers RNSs faster. Not now, anyway. Go back a year, maybe we've changed the provider, and it delivers. Anyway, listen. So, companies I had news on today, and I would say I like it when news is delivered. When it's good news, of course, on my company. It's not bad news, because that's not good. But two companies today. I'll start off with Powerhouse Energy. Now, for a while, I've loved this technology. There's been cynics and skeptics saying it can't do it. The tech isn't up to it. This company's been around for like 10, 12 years. And it's still not working. I know, and I've said for the last couple of years, I know that, but it's been coming to the end game now. They're really coming. Listen, this is what they do. They have what's called DMGs. This is distributed modular gasification units, which is a long sort of phrase. But essentially, it's like alchemy. It's like turning base metals into gold. What they do is their machines, you chuck rubbish in. It's got to be a certain kind of rubbish, of course, which a lot of people criticise. It's got to be sorted, which things are anyway. So it can be plastic. It can be rubber tyres, stuff you don't want, stuff that you can't do anything with. If you landfill it, we're drowning in plastic. I don't know if you saw that show recently, Drowning in Plastic. I know Blue Planet raised our awareness to the plastic problem, but that show on BBC at the moment, Drowning in Plastic, horrific what's going on. And there's a place in the Far East, Malaysia or Indonesia it was, and there was this river. It must have been, I'd say, several football fields wide, this river, just covered in plastic. The fish had left there. So we know there's a massive problem with plastic. And the problem with plastic is it's too good. It's too robust. But I didn't realise this. 2/3 of the plastic we put in our recycle bins isn't even recycled. It can't be recycled. So this is what I love about the technology of Powerhouse Energy. PHE is ticker. Very risky, of course it is. We've gone through years of evolution. But they got a guy on board recently that was a well-respected engineer. He independently put money into the company, and he said, this technology works. And now another big company has come out. Let me just check who the company is, but I'll just check who they are. But another massive company has just come out. And they are a big company, a multi-global player, a well-respected engineering company. So DNVGL, they literally, have 14,000 employees. Their turnover is in billions. And I tweeted out today saying validation. So they've got this tech that you put rubbish in, and it comes out as either clean energy, like hydrogen, or electricity can be produced. What's better than that? As an idea, if you could come up with an impossible idea that would never be done, that's the kind of thing you come up with. Here, just chuck rubbish in here, out the other end. So stuff you put in is worth nothing. No one wants it. In fact, people charge you to get rid of it. All right. So basically, put it in here, and it comes out the other end, and it's clean energy. That is phenomenal. That is now Powerhouse Energy on the verge of cracking that. And I just think there's been cynics and people knock it, but I do think now they're coming into the end game here. It's very risky, of course it is. The tech is still very early tech, but I don't think there's anyone who can do this like this. And these are what's good about these things is they're distributed modular gasification, so they'll be built in like a unit, kind of like one of those containers, transport containers, that big. So they can do up to 25 tons a day in one of those. I think that's what they're hoping to do. But so they'll put these, in sort of waste areas. Now I don't know if you've been to your local sort of amenity site or tip, basically. Amenity is a posh word, isn't it? Tip. It's if you go there, mine, right, it's a really fancy new one. And there are cars queuing, pretty much, especially on the weekend. Nuts, queuing, non-stop, just chucking a load of rubbish. And I'm just thinking, where's all this going? And you imagine one of these in every sort of big town up in the country. Thousands of them, just wasting. And we can't landfill sites. China doesn't want any more plastic. So I just think it's a major answer to a major problem, or solution to a major problem. And yet, like I said, they can charge for rubbish. So if you're giving them rubbish, they'll charge it. They'll turn it into electricity. So you've now got lorries and all this stuff that are genuinely running on hydrogen gas already. And there's lots of big players out there that have literally put lots of money into hydrogen fuel cell, sort of production. But no one can produce it like this. I'm not aware of anyone anyway, but I just think it's very risky. I love that kind of tech, blue sky tech. It is in the essence blue sky, in the essence turning something that's no one wants into something that's valuable, phenomenal. So that's Powerhouse Energy, still only about an 8 million market cap, up sort of 10-15% a day. They may need to raise funds. I'm not aware of their funding. So I mean, I know they did it placing a while, but they may need to raise funds. But I think long term, as an investor, this is the kind of tech I want to invest in. It really is. It can make a massive difference. Another company with good news out. I wrote a blog about recently called Totally PLC. You may have seen that. And I did 5 reasons. Essentially, they're an NHS outsourcer. They've announced today an extension of a contract for 3.3 million. There's a big seller in there, which is annoying, and I did highlight this. But this is why the share price is down where it is. This is the company valued at about £11 million, right? Just under 12, I think. In March, their end-of-year report showed that they have 10.2 million in cash. So, and yet their turnover next year, I think it's going to be 80 million. So they acquired a company called Waite. Now, Waite had its issues, but they are sorting it out and they make it more efficient. And due to that, due to an exceptional item this year, they made a profit of, so they did 15 months to March, I think it was, and they made a pre-tax profit of 2.1 million, and they had 10.2 million of cash in the bank. And I'm thinking, they've won 5.6 million in new contracts this year, going into this financial year. Over the next 3 years, or 3 to 5 years, because most of these contracts are extendable, they've won now over 20 million. And yet they're valued at 11 million. And 10 million, that is, well, it's probably a bit less than that now, but they're not losing that much. So someone did ask me, they said their forecast, I think, to be, because I think they're going to be breaking even or making a small loss next 2 years, but the brokers have forecast them to produce a pre-tax profit in 2020. And he said, 2020? That's a long way off, isn't it? Someone said to me on Twitter. I said, well, not really. We're nearly in 2019. He said, they'll do a placing, won't they? I said, well, they had 10.2 million in cash. They're not making a huge loss. I think the expected loss is 1.5 million. So and then the loss the year after that is going to be less. But let's say it's it's a maximum of 5 million. They still have 5 million cash. So I don't see why they would do a fundraise. So and then if anything, they've exceeded on contracts being extended year end. So this is after the brokers have written about them. They've released quite a few new contracts, and there's still provision. And what I like about this company is the environment is conducive to their business, because the NHS spend a lot of money on A&E, and they did a sort of report in 2017 that says 1.5 million people don't need to come into A&E. They can be dealt with elsewhere. It's just cheaper for them to outsource. It'd be better for them. Not only cheaper for them, it can be better for them, and more convenient for them, and also it saves money for the NHS and saves money all round. And this is where Totally come in. That's what the service they provide. They provide also 111 calls, all that stuff. But they are a buy and build acquisition company, and I just liked it. But do you know what? The share price it went up today about sort of, I think at 5-6%, and all of a sudden some big seller come in. There is some sellers in there. I mean, institutional investors, and it's suppressing the share price. And this can happen. And this is why, like I said, they are down at this valuation at the moment. They've had about 3 funds sell out of them. And someone said, why does this happen? And I said to my blog, listen, I've spoken to people about this who know more about this than me, and invariably, institutional investors sell down for internal reasons, nothing to do with the company they're invested in. So they may have been, on the roadshow, the initial roadshow, to raise funds for the company when it did the acquisition, and now, they're just out now. They've had their money, they're out. So it also may be because they will not invest in a company below a certain market cap, because you get these micro cap. In fact, so Miton Trust was in there. Miton Microcap Trust is also in there. The microcap trust is sold out, so that gives the stock price a bit of a hammering. And that could be as simple as the company's gone below a valuation of 20 million, we're selling. Don't even look at the potential of the company. That happens often, And different strategy, divestment of core ideas in an investment house. So, usually it's down to the investment house themselves, internal strategies, nothing to do with the company they're invested in. And I know it sounds really odd, but these companies invest in hundreds of companies. So, just selling out one. And so whenever they get the liquidity, whenever there's some good news like today, they'll just hit the sell button as much as they can. So it'll take any rise out of the stock whatsoever. But there's potential, because once the sellers are out, normally you will see an aggressive re-rating of the share price, because it's been suppressed like a coil for so long. So that's 2 companies in my. One other company I just want to highlight. I mentioned this before. It's Bezant Resources. And the more I read about copper recently, there's been more and more reports about copper becoming the commodity. A really hot commod, and I just can't understand it. Bezant, the share price has been sinking. It's 3.25 million market cap, and they have 811,000 tons of contained copper and 2.2 billion ounces of gold in their Mankayan project in the Philippines. That's worth, I think, cash flows over 28-year mine life. It's about 3.7 billion, and the NPV, net present value, is just shy of 800 million. Now, it's too big a project for them, but I know apparently Lawrence, the CEO, has been in Hong Kong for a couple of weeks now, I think it is, having lots of meetings. So, question the Philippines as a sort of, sorry, looking quite scruffy there. Question the Philippines as a jurisdiction, being quite, risky. But there are 30 plus mine companies in the Philippines. Most of those are listed, doing very good business. So even though people say it's risky, there's massive potential there, And even one of these companies could, it's not, unforeseen to see this. One of these companies could take Bezant out. It's only 3.25 million. It's ridiculous. And back in 2014, Goldcrest nearly bought them, or this asset, for 70 million. And I've always said that was before. 2014 was before, remember, governments started banning petrol and diesel in favour of electric vehicles or clean energy, which needs more copper. So copper, I think, if you've got no exposure, I've got exposure to Asia Met and Bezant, but, do some research on the company. Like, very high risk. Of course, there's a micro-cap stock based in the Philippines, but, again, the potential is massive, could be. So do your own research there. It's not investment advice, as you can tell from the banners either side. But just information, just ideas. Not every idea is good. It's like Dragon's Den. I'll pitch something to you, you can say, I'm out. Simple as that. So, but the thing is to get ideas coming, that's the thing. I hope that helps. That's my diary. I went on for a bit. But any comments below? I didn't really pick up any comments from last diary. I do apologise, but I will do that for the next guy. Any comments, please put below. Thanks very much. Oh, by the way, before I go, please subscribe. I know I say this every time, but when I see that subscriber count go up, makes me very happy. So if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button there. Thanks very much.